Before tragedy struck, these stars shone brightly in the Chinese entertainment industry. Qiao Renliang captivated audiences with his powerful vocals and emotional performances. His rise to fame was meteoric, earning legions of devoted fans. Meanwhile, Yu Menglong and Zhao Hongfei carved out niches in acting, capturing heart with on-screen charisma and talent. But fame, as history has shown, often comes with a dark price. Rumors began to swirl about the pressures these young stars faced, pressures that fans couldn't see from the outside. Endless work schedules, mental health struggles, and hidden conflicts created a tense environment. Whispers of threats, warnings, and silent struggles began to emerge, hinting at a world far darker than the public could imagine. Qiao Renliang, in particular, reportedly left behind cryptic messages, warnings about forces in the entertainment industry that could destroy lives. Some say these were personal struggles. Others believe they were a dire caution about the fate of his peers, including Yu Menglong and Zhao Hongfei. When the deaths of Yu Menglong and Zhao Hongfei were confirmed, social media exploded. Fans mourned, and the entire entertainment industry was left questioning the circumstances. Conspiracy theories erupted, from foul play to hidden secrets of the entertainment industry that nobody dared speak of publicly. The chilling part? Some point to messages left by Qiao Renliang before his death as prophetic warnings. Could these tragedies have been predicted? Or were they the dark inevitabilities of a high-pressure world? Investigative journalists and insider reports began digging into the circumstances. Interviews with former colleagues, anonymous tips, and leaked messages painted a shocking picture of manipulation, hidden rivalries, and mental health crises. The story became more than just celebrity gossip. It became a window into a system where fame can be both a blessing and a curse. Fans worldwide reacted with grief, confusion, and anger. Social media hashtags went viral, with millions demanding truth and accountability. Forums became graveyards of speculation, while YouTube videos dissected every possible clue, from interviews to social media posts. The case became an international discussion on the price of fame, the dangers of online scrutiny, and the fragility of mental health in high-pressure industries. Before his untimely death, Qiao Renliang reportedly left a series of messages on social media and in private chats that seemed almost prophetic. Fans who later analyzed these posts noticed recurring themes. 1. Warnings about hidden dangers, messages suggesting that fame could bring not only opportunity but also invisible threats. 2. Mentions of protecting the innocent. Many interpreted this as Qiao hinting at the well-being of fellow rising stars like Yu Menglong and Zhao Hongfei. 3. Cryptic dates and symbols. Some posts contained numbers or emojis fans later connected to key events surrounding the deaths of his colleagues. The uncanny nature of these messages has fueled theories that Qiao's death and the subsequent tragedies were not random but intertwined, a dark tapestry of fate, warning, and secrecy. Yu Menglong had captured the hearts of millions with his charm, versatility, and dedication. But behind his public smile, those close to him noted stress and isolation. Rumors of industry manipulation, extreme pressure, and unspoken rivalries began circulating online. Overwork and mental strain. Like many in the industry, Yu Menglong reportedly faced grueling schedules that left little room for rest or reflection. Industry whispers. Some insiders claimed he had conflict with management over creative control, which added tension to his already precarious mental state. The sudden end. When his death shocked fans, people began connecting it back to Qiao Renliang's warnings, wondering if the signs had been ignored or unseen, until it was too late. Meanwhile, Zhao Hongfei was also navigating the perilous waters of stardom. Known for his dedication to craft and approachable persona, Zhao was not immune to the pressures that haunted his peers. The hidden struggles. Sources suggest Zhao had confided in friends about feeling watched and trapped within the industry's expectations. The fatal timing. His death occurred shortly after Yu Menglong's, sparking speculation that there might be connections between the two cases beyond coincidence. A growing faction of fans and online sleuths has pieced together a disturbing theory. Qiao Renliang's death wasn't just tragic, it was a warning. And perhaps Yu Menglong and Zhao Hongfei were casualties of the very system Qiao tried to expose. While some dismiss it as conspiracy, the overlap of private warnings, public posts, and industry pressures has made the story almost impossible to ignore. Social media platforms erupted with hashtags like #Qiao Renliang warning, #unseen dangers, #Yu Menglong mystery, Zhao Hongfei truth. Behind the red carpets, sources hint at an entertainment ecosystem that thrives on secrecy. Or management control, agencies reportedly wield immense power, with strict contract and punitive measures for noncompliance. A mental health negligence. Stars often suffer silently, with limited access to professional support due to stigma. A whispered threat. Some insiders allege that warning signs, like Qiao's cryptic messages, are taken seriously only after tragedy strikes. The combination of intense pressure, lack of transparency, and hidden conflicts creates a dangerous environment for even the most talented performers. In the months leading up to his death, Qiao Renliang became increasingly introspective. Close friends and collaborators noticed unusual behavior. A cryptic social post. Qiao shared images, numbers, and messages that fans later interpreted as coded warnings. A withdrawal from public life. His appearances became sporadic, interviews minimal, and social media activity irregular. Private messages. Anonymous sources claimed Qiao spoke of protecting his fellow actors, hinting at dangers they could not yet see. These subtle cues were mostly overlooked by the public at the time, but fans who later revisited his posts realized their ominous undertones. Yu Menglong's death was the first to shock the entertainment community. Known for his talent and warmth, he seemed the last person anyone would expect to face such a fate. Details remain sparse, but the timeline highlights some critical points. 1. Sudden withdrawal. Friends reported that Yu Menglong had been unusually quiet in the days leading up to his death. 2. Private disputes. Some sources hinted at conflicts with management and creative teams, though official statements remain vague. 3. The aftermath. When news of his death broke, social media exploded. Fans dug into every public post, seeking clues that might explain the tragedy. Then, only weeks later, Zhao Hongfei died under similarly mysterious circumstances. The closeness of the timing sent shockwaves across the fan community. The sequence suggested more than coincidence. Fans began connecting Zhao's death back to Qiao Renliang's warnings, speculating that an unseen threat may have loomed over both actors. Videos, interviews, and past social media posts were re-examined for hidden patterns. The tragedy sparked an unprecedented wave of online detective work. Millions of fans began dissecting Qiao's cryptic messages. From emojis to ambiguous numbers, every detail was analyzed for potential meaning. Interview statements. Past interviews were combed for subtle hints or references that could shed light on hidden dangers. Public appearances. Fans compared videos for behavioral changes that might indicate stress, fear, or foreknowledge of events to come. On platforms like YouTube, TikTok, and Weibo, these investigations went viral. Fans shared theories that ranged from psychological stress to sinister conspiracies involving industry insiders. Hashtags like #Qiao Renliang warning and #Yu Menglong mystery reached millions of views, turning the story into a global phenomenon. As fan-led investigations deepened, several coincidences emerged that only added to the sense of unease. Symbolic dates. Fans noticed recurring dates in social media posts that aligned with key events. Cryptic imagery. Certain posts by Qiao featured symbols that later seemed eerily relevant to the unfolding tragedies. Echoes in lyrics. Qiao's songs were reinterpreted by fans as reflective of his mental state and subtle warnings to peers. These coincidences blurred the line between prophecy and paranoia, fueling speculation that something far more sinister than mere misfortune was at play. Traditional media coverage was largely cautious, avoiding speculation, but social media painted a very different picture. Fan theories dominated platforms, with millions weighing in on possible explanations. Tributes turned into investigations, as fans combined grief with desire for truth. A global attention elevated the story beyond China, with international audiences following the tragic saga. The interplay between grief, curiosity, and the search for answers made this one of the most viral entertainment stories in recent memory. The Chinese entertainment industry, like many others worldwide, is highly competitive and intensely secretive. Interviews with former insiders and investigative reports have highlighted several factors that fans rarely see. 1. Extreme management control. Agencies often dictate every aspect of a star's life, from appearances to social media activity. Those who resist face severe consequences, including career sabotage. 2. Mental health suppression. Admitting struggles is seen as weakness, and stars frequently hide depression, anxiety, or exhaustion for fear of losing opportunities. 3. Hidden rivalries. The drive for fame creates intense competition behind the scenes. Some insiders claim that minor disputes can escalate into significant conflicts, often unnoticed by fans. 4. Financial exploitation. Young actors and singers are sometimes trapped in contracts that benefit the agency far more than the artist, adding layers of stress and resentment. These systemic pressures set the stage for tragedies that feel sudden but are often the result of long-term strain and manipulation. Fans and analysts alike have pored over Qiao's last posts, interviews, and song lyrics, finding repeated patterns of warnings. Cryptic words about fate and danger. Some messages spoke of protecting innocent lives and warned that the industry had hidden teeth. Of symbols and numbers, emojis, dates, and numbers appear to correspond with real-life events in the careers and ultimately the deaths of his peers. Song lyrics as clues. Lyrics from Qiao's final songs, previously seen as metaphorical, now seem eerily literal to many fans, describing struggle, entrapment, and unseen threats. For some, these messages turned Qiao Renliang into more than a tragic figure. They became a cautionary voice, hauntingly predictive. Online forums and social media have given rise to multiple theories attempting to connect the dots between the deaths. 1. Industry conspiracy theory. Some believe that agency politics and rivalries may have played a role, creating a toxic environment where careers and lives were endangered. 2. Mental health collapse. A more conventional theory suggests that the immense stress of stardom, combined with isolation and lack of support, led to mental health crises. 3. Chilling coincidences. Fans point to timelines, cryptic posts, and seemingly prophetic messages as evidence that Qiao's death and the subsequent deaths were interconnected in ways that remain mysterious. While none of these theories are confirmed, their persistence highlights a growing concern. The entertainment world can hide dangerous realities behind its glamour. The digital age has allowed fans to piece together clues like never before. Some of the most compelling evidence cited by investigators online includes video analyses. Fans dissect interviews and live streams, searching for subtle behaviors or statements that might indicate foreknowledge of danger. Timeline reconstructions. Public appearances, private messages, and social media posts are mapped against real-world events. Symbolic patterns, emojis, lyrics, and cryptic numbers are cross-referenced with key dates in the lives of the stars. YouTube channels dedicated to unraveling this mystery have gone viral, accumulating millions of views and sparking global discussion. Many viewers describe the story as like a real-life thriller, where the villain may not be a person but the system itself. Fans have not stayed silent. Online campaigns demand greater transparency in the entertainment industry. Calls for mental health support. Advocates argue that preventing tragedies like these requires a systemic shift toward better care and support for performers. Agency accountability. There's growing pressure on agencies to be more transparent about contracts, work hours, and industry practices. Honoring the fallen. Fans continue to commemorate Qiao, Yu Menglong, and Zhao Hongfei, keeping their stories alive while pushing for a safer industry. Social media platforms have become memorials and investigative hubs simultaneously, showing how grief and curiosity can merge into a collective search for truth. Even outside China, audiences are captivated by this narrative because it speaks to universal themes of the fragility of mental health under extreme pressure, the hidden dangers of industries that prioritize profit over people, the power of warnings, intuition, and legacy. Qiao Renliang, in his final months, seemed to become a symbol of these struggles, a voice that warned, and now, through tragedy, continues to speak. On stage, Qiao Renliang looked energetic. In interviews, he looked composed. In public, he appeared successful. But depression doesn't always look like sadness. It can look like productivity. It can look like ambition. It can look like someone trying very hard to hold it together. Friends later revealed that he had been under immense stress, work pressure, public scrutiny, online criticism, and the crushing weight of expectations. The entertainment industry can elevate someone to stardom overnight, but it rarely teaches them how to survive it. Qiao Renliang's passing forced a difficult conversation in China and beyond. Why are so many entertainers silently suffering? Across global industries, from Hollywood to Asia's pop scenes, performers face relentless schedules, online harassment, loss of privacy, financial pressure, contractual control. fear of appearing weak. Mental health struggles are often hidden because admitting them can mean losing roles, endorsements, or reputation. In many cultures, depression is still stigmatized, and that silence can be deadly. Society often believes celebrities are stronger because they are famous, but fame does not protect the mind. If anything, it amplifies vulnerability. For someone like Qiao Renliang, every mistake was magnified, every rumor spread instantly. Every comment section became a battlefield. When millions are watching, even a small crack can feel catastrophic. After his death, public awareness around depression in China grew significantly. Fans began advocating for better mental health resources for entertainers, reduced online bullying, more humane scheduling practices, industry accountability. Discussions about emotional well-being started appearing more openly in media. And that might be part of Qiao's legacy. Not a conspiracy, not a coded warning, but a wake-up call. Social media both built and broke modern celebrity culture. It creates connection, but it also creates 24/7 criticism, instant outrage, viral harassment, unrealistic expectations. For public figures, there's no off switch. The same platforms that celebrate them can turn into echo chambers of negativity. And studies worldwide now show a strong link between online harassment and worsening mental health among public figures. The most powerful takeaway from this story is this: we don't truly know what someone is carrying. Not the influencer, not the actor, not the singer, not even the person smiling beside us. Fame hides pain extremely well. The viral fascination with mystery often distracts from the real issue. Mental health must be taken seriously. Instead of framing him as a prophet of conspiracy, perhaps his real legacy is something more human. He was a talented artist who struggled silently. He was someone who needed support. He was someone who reminds us that success does not equal emotional safety. And his story continues to inspire conversations that could save lives. Here's a powerful direction your video can take. Instead of focusing on dark secrets, you could frame it as the untold truth behind Qiao Renliang's final struggle, what the industry doesn't talk about. That angle, is emotional, is responsible, builds trust, avoids misinformation, has strong viral potential, won't get flagged, and more importantly, it respects real people. If you ever feel overwhelmed, hopeless, or alone, reach out, talk to someone, a friend, a professional, a family member. Mental health struggles are not weakness. They are human, and conversations like this matter.